Alright, so welcome everyone to episode 4 of Subnautica. We're joined again by Tank. And I think he's going to be a bit of a regular on the program now, so I'm going to have a bit of a co-pilot in Tank. Last time he was planning a route to LifePod 3 for me. He was being my navigator. This time it's going to be a bit more of a chill episode because I'm just going to be, for a lot of it, just like building the base and that kind of thing, because we're ready to start actually making our own habitat and stuff now. So me and Tank are just going to have a bit of a relaxed chat for now. This time around, Tank can actually see my screen as well, so
that's correct.
We're just going to have a nice little conversation. But I do have an admission up front. I royally screwed up the audio capture for the next 4 episodes.
We didn't think to check back on the videos. We just assumed everything worked.
Yes. So I haven't recorded my own mic audio.
But I can still be heard in game, so I'm basically having a one-sided conversation with myself.
Yeah, you can only hear what Tank's saying in the video. So the best thing we can really do, because I can't revert to the old save, is just redo some commentary over the video. So for the next 4 episodes, you're not going to be hearing the live commentary. You're just going to be hearing us talking about what's going on in the video. So apologies to Tank, but thank you for joining me and redoing the audio for these episodes.
Not a problem, man.
So yeah, at the moment we're just kind of planning what we need to build, what we're going to have to make in order to make the new habitat our new base of operations. So I'm after some quartz here, enough to make quartz and glass for a hatch and for a solar panel.
There's also some limestone in here which you can use for future. I'm not sure if you pulled any off the tube right now.
I think at the moment, back at the LifePod, I've got a fair amount of titanium and copper. Although, yeah, these giant coral tubes are definitely a good source of limestone whenever it's needed. Also, we're going to grab some things to make a new fabricator. Ooh. That was a dead peeper, I think, blown up by the crash fish.
A bladder fish got absolutely inverted.
I noticed that bladderfish are always easier to grab than peepers. Which is kind of nice, because you definitely need a lot more bladderfish for water than you do need peepers for food. Thirst seems to go down a lot faster.
Yeah, as myself just said in the video, peepers are a lot more agile. They're considered like the dolphins of this planet because of their agility.
At the moment, I think I'm looking for table coral. So table coral and gold are the 2 main things needed for a new fabricator, because you can't deconstruct the LifePod machinery, because you could screw yourself if you lost the fabricator and couldn't remake one.
Yeah, so we set the objective of duplicating all the machinery here in LifePod 5 in the base, the fabricator, the radio, and so forth. And I'm just going over what will be needed to move everything to the base. And then once that's all done, the LifePod 5 is basically redundant, and you can just live in the sea base.
We're also planning on making our sea glide so that we can open up the game a little bit. At the moment, as we saw in the last episode, having to get anywhere that's more than a couple 100 meters away is a big task.
Here we go. We're just making a sea glide now.
And that sea glide, yep, that's going to come in mighty helpful in order to actually get places. But this is why I need a habitat so badly. Just, I'm out of storage space right now. So we need to head over and actually start making a base so I can put some things away. I think in the last episode I did make the first sections of the base. I just can't get inside because I don't have a hatch.
Yeah, and besides there's no power. When a base has no power, it has no means of oxygen production, which means it's inhabitable at the moment.
That's also why, by the rules of this challenge run, I think it's acceptable to use bases as a source of oxygen. So the whole idea of the challenge is that like the surface air has kind of been contaminated. There's some sort of virus in the air, which kind of fits nicely with the theme of the game as well, because there's kind of, as we've started to see, there's contaminants around. We've seen a contaminated fish. So I'm going to say for the story that the air is contaminated, so we can't breach the surface, otherwise we're going to die of some kind of alien virus. But clearly, because power is required for oxygen, these bases must be self-generating oxygen, not from any kind of surface. So I think we can safely assume that this is clean air that's not from the surface.
Pure.
And that goes for vehicles too.
Yeah, they're self-contained atmospheres that haven't been exposed to the planet's atmosphere.
So I believe what's just happened is do I need 1 copper for...
Yeah, you forgot to take some out of Life Pod 5, so now you've gone foraging for limestone.
What is it I need it for? Is it for the
solar panel itself?
Right. So the solar panel needs 1 copper. But yeah, as we mentioned, there's plenty of limestone around here, so we can just nip into one of the caves and grab some nice and easy. That was unfortunately titanium.
Thank you.
Just so you're aware, Tank, I don't know if I explained this properly, the original video audio won't be audible on this. It's just going to be so we can hear what's going on. So all the people are going to hear is just our 2 voices for this.
I see.
Right.
And with that installed, that means that the base is habitable.
Yeah, that makes a fully operational base. We also wanted to make a beacon for the base just so we don't lose it, but a beacon has
Yes, I recommended this so that we can easily find it making trips to and from Life Pod 5.
And we got our beacon blueprint when we went and explored Life Pod 3. Same with the Sea Glide, actually, yeah.
Yeah, it was a byproduct of exploring that area. The Sea Glide fragment in question was right outside Life Pod 3, but when attempting to lead Sky to a wreck, he found the wrong wreck, but there was a beacon blueprint in there as a consolation prize.
Alright, there's our fabricator, which is the biggest thing for a new base.
That's the key right there.
So now we need a radio, we need a medical first aid maker. And we need
storage.
Plenty of storage.
But that's a trivial thing to make in this case.
I'll be trying to keep myself as organised as possible because I've got a lot of things I'm going to be putting away. This, I believe, is my titanium box. Ooh, if I can spell.
That's the main part.
I think I preemptively made 2 of these as well because I'm going to be finding a lot of titanium. So in the first 3 episodes, I kind of made them under the assumption that the people watching knew something about the game. Especially with it being a tricky challenge run, it's the kind of thing you'd watch after you'd seen at least a standard playthrough of the game. But having chatted with a few of my audience members, it seems like we do have a lot of first-timers as well. So we did want to just roughly go over some of the backstories of the game and also kind of what's happened so far that I haven't explicitly explained. So from the top, in fact, Tank, I think you know this game better than I do. Do you want to just a quick rundown of the story so far?
Okay, so what we've encountered so far was that the Aurora was in the vicinity of this planet, but due to what appeared to be... I can't remember what the official alarm stated, but it was definitely a whole breach at some point, and the ship was going down, so all the crew tried to evacuate. A handful of them did, into various pods. And we chose Life Pod 5 alone, unfortunately, because we couldn't be asked to wait for someone else. And we landed in the safe shallows, and we got knocked the fuck out by a loose panel, which has since been fixed. It was fixed at near the beginning of the playthrough. And now that that's taken care of, we're basically just trying to do a couple of objectives, such as, well, surviving, hooking up with anyone else, and, well, surviving, I guess. Just trying to find a way off the planet. But so far, progress is limited.
Yeah. And so far, those radio messages from the other people who were in life pods is kind of the main way that the game progresses. We've heard a couple of messages so far. We've heard Life Pod 3, the one that we went to in the last episode.
Yeah.
They... I can't remember exactly what the message said, but they wanted to go to the rendezvous.
They were just patching up their sea glide, so
right.
not to leave that there. We found a sea glide, alright. It was fucked. No sign of the people there.
Yeah, we didn't actually find any of the guys who left the message for us. That was a nasty hit from that crash fish. I did not do a good job of avoiding that one.
Yeah, well, in fairness, you were mostly engrossed with scanning it into the database, which I'd say kind of makes up for it in the long
run. I think we're also discussing whether a crash fish explosion actually removes oxygen from you as well, which I think may be the case. If you get hit by a crash fish, yeah.
That was the subject we was on at the time. I'm not sure if they kept that in for the release version. We're about to get a message. Answer the message, I think, after...
We're also moving over everything to the storage in the new base, and this pretty much means that this life pod is near enough redundant. We're missing 2 spots, but what can we do to free up some space here?
I suggested release the peeper that we've got, but I don't think Sky did that.
It's my only food right now.
Yeah, well, there's plenty to go around. So just cook it up instead. No freedom for you.
No reason not to just eat it. And what else? We can make some, I believe, copper wire with 2 of the copper.
I think this is where we made the beacon.
Oh, that's true. Yes, we made a beacon. So I can't remember.
We're just debating whether or not copper wire was needed for one of the objects.
Yeah. Have we had any messages so far except for LifePod 3?
I think we're about to get the second message we've received so far. I don't think we have any others right now.
So we've not heard from Ozzy yet?
I think this is about the one that...
I thought this might have been Avery. Yeah, okay, distress call. So this is Ozzy from the cafeteria.
This is Ozzy! LifePod 17, which Sky is actually heading towards subconsciously. Crushed by the Seamoth Bay. Now, I know to that point could be of interest.
Yeah, that certainly sounds like it might be somewhere that we want to head. A Seamoth is a goal in the near future. After we've made the base, which we're pretty much finishing off now, getting ourselves a Seamoth is one of the next objectives. That, and also getting a scanner room as well, for reasons that will become evident a little bit later on.
And also a surplus goal of finding a swivel chair for Sky. So,
because still need that swivel chair.
So those are our 3 focused objectives right now. Get a Seamoth, get a scanner room, get a swivel chair. Because all of those will be necessary for Sky to break the game in his favour, so to speak.
Alright, I'm trying to play it safe, dropping the beacon, because I'm not sure if, will it get carried away by stalkers? Will a Gasopod maybe knock it around? That actually, I think, does happen. I think a Gasopod does knock this beacon.
I'd say that's about the only hazard, but stalkers ignore beacons by default.
Well, that's good. Because they certainly don't ignore some other things, which is very annoying. Cameras on scanner rooms, I've had bad experiences with.
They also don't tend to ignore your face. The underwater sky.
I'm doing a bit of beacon management as well, so I'm deciding what colours I'm going to make things, just to be as clear as possible signals I'm going to make orange. I think vehicles I decided to make red.
Yeah.
I think I make them red. I think I'm about to change the life pod and the beacon to yellow.
Alright.
I'm not sure. I might change those around. But yeah, I'm going to try and categorize
Oh yeah,
the colours.
and look at that. There's a sand shark
just chilling.
Yeah. No idea why it was over here.
Very odd.
It
He's
came
come
from the
quite
grassy
away.
plateau. This guy's just going to sneak in a quick scan before it decides to turn around and attack with like
Chew my
3 or
face off?
4 rows of... Yeah, it's got, look at its picture there. It's got like 3 or 4 rows of teeth.
That is a nasty looking fish.
Yeah. Don't get caught in that.
This is the second time Tank's reminded me about my oxygen level.
Yeah, once I'm watching Sky Live, I tend to be a bit more informative about oxygen because, you know, sometimes 30 seconds just isn't enough of a warning. So I'd probably mention it around 60, 50 seconds. Yeah,
So-
and now there's a Gasopod link around the base, and I think it's about... Yep, there it goes. It
I tried to
punches the beacon.
just punch the beacon. There we go. Just ridiculous. I tried to make this base in such a safe spot, and now I've
And
got
it just turns
sand
into
sharks
the
and
exact
gasopods
opposite.
all bearing down on me. Oh, look at the stalkers behind me as well. Yeah, just
Yeah.
I built this thing 20
It
minutes
doesn't
ago.
take
It's being
long.
barraged now.
It doesn't take long for everything to go to shit. And I think as a response, yes, the base gets named from the underwater sky to the underwater Y, as I like to call it. Because why did this just have to happen? And now I think I asked Sky whether or not he wants to change location of the base, but he's pretty much committed now.
Yeah, there is no way I'm moving all of this to another place now.
It'd be a lot of trips back and forth because of your inventory space.
So yeah, we're about half done making this base now. We need the radio, the medical thing. There's a couple other storage spots that I want to make, and also I'm going to make a hatch on the other side just in case I'm coming home from the other direction and we don't want me to drown at the backside of my base just because there was no way in.
It can happen.
It has happened to me frequently.
Well, there you go. Oh, crash fish
This is a-
dotted around.
This is a really weird brain coral. You don't often see brain corals like in the middle of cave systems, not exposed to the surface.
Yeah, usually they're always on the seabed, going towards the surface. And I think around this point there's like another crash fish that we don't see or something that just jumps us out the blue. I think it's here.
I'm grabbing all the cave sulfur that I find, but I'm not sure if it actually ends up getting used for much of anything. I think it really is. You were saying it's basically just flares and maybe one vehicle upgrade?
Maybe so, yeah. I can't quite remember off the top of my head if it's required for anything else. I remember at one point you used to need to use it to make magnesium, which
Okay.
was a necessity for the welder, but it looks like they changed it to just require cave sulfur rather than magnesium. Yeah, I remember magnesium was a bit of cave sulfur, which back then was named crash powder, and
Okay.
3 salt deposits.
And that made magnesium?
Yeah, 3 salt deposits and
It's
crash powder.
interesting that combining something gives you an elemental metal.
Especially salt. I mean, that's sodium chloride. You wouldn't think that goes into magnesium.
Actually, in fairness, I suppose it could be a reaction that's removing something from a magnesium compound that leaves you with pure magnesium.
I mean, it's probable.
I guess that's the only way
I
of
never
doing
know
it. Unless you're just doing...
how the fabricator does it.
I don't know if you're just doing alchemy on the fly.
Well, I guess the fabricator is, but then again, it can just like atomically rearrange substances or something to that effect. I can't quite remember the actual mechanics of the fabricator off the top of my head. It's probably in its description. And in comes the radio, just find the spot for it.
I'm very particular
Not
about the
on
way
the
I build my
fabricator.
bases.
It's understandable. I get that a lot.
I'm going to be living here for most of the rest of the game, I think.
And the last piece of the puzzle is the medical kit fabricator, which requires fiber mesh, which is a necessity from the kelp forest biomes. The well, as the name implies, the areas with all the kelp. And this guy is just backing into a gasopod meanwhile.
I'm heading away from the kelp forest right now. I think, am I headed for maybe some table coral first? I was saying it could possibly be a blessing in disguise that our base is completely surrounded by gasopods, because they could at least hurt like stalkers or sand sharks if they do happen to get too near to me.
Yeah, absolutely. Probably use them as like a defensive mechanism because their gas can completely decimate predator health. Yeah, we're just looking for table coral now.
And there it is.
Yep, there it is. Not on books.
Oop, don't lose it.
Yeah. when I get it, it tends to have a habit of tumbling to the seabed. Oh yeah, I just saw that. Did you see that, Sky?
What happened?
The gasopod just whizzed past the top left of the screen. I remember laughing about that.
No, I missed it at the time, and I've just missed it again.
Yeah, if you edit that back and replay in slow motion at the top left of the screen, you should see it.
Yeah, I'll have to have a look.
And yeah, now we're headed for the kelp first.
So we need to grab some fibre mesh.
Oh no, we don't have the space. We gotta go offload some stuff first, and then take 2 creepvine samples with a knife. So back and forth, but there'll probably be a lot of this in the series because a lot of this is scavenging materials and like, and offloading it at your base to use later.
Yeah, it's a survival game. Returning to your safe spots frequently is pretty much always going to be on the cards.
Absolutely.
So we're going to make ourselves a computer chip, which
we're
is
just
one of the components. Is the
I
computer
think
chip going to
we
be for the medical box maker? The first kit?
I
first aid
believe
kit?
so, yes.
Okay.
Do we have it? Yeah, we can make one. And now we just need the fibre mesh to close out, I think.
And we should have the space for it now, almost. So let's check how much fibre mesh we need. I think it's just 1, isn't it?
Yeah, just one.
So that requires 2.
2 samples to make 1 piece
Yeah.
of fibre mesh. One last locker for the road, and then that's to store all the med kits that the fabricator will make.
And we're going to have that next to the first aid kit maker, which makes sense.
As a rule, I like to keep at least 3 med kits on me. At the time of this recording, I think I was mentioning at some point having to I was like in one of the distant biomes, and I ran out of food and water.
Oh yeah.
And I was having to bounce from kelp forest to kelp forest back home. Just had to bounce from kelp forest to kelp forest, and take creepvine samples because they replenish a small fraction of food and water. I was using those to keep myself alive, and I also had to use all 3 of my med kits, all of that combined, to get myself home and get some proper sustenance. It was not fun. I would not recommend it. Oh, gulag. Oh, that's right. It's an audio plane, so.
Yeah, I wanted to just catch up with what we'd actually heard from the LifePod so far, just so we knew what kind of the story was. And yeah, as we said, LifePod 3 are saying that they want to hit the rendezvous, but their Sea Glide is a bit ruined. And they're also not sure if a Sea Glide can carry 2 people.
LifePod 6 transmission origin.
Oh yeah, so this is a LifePod that said they were under attack, I believe, by some kind of snake creature?
That's 17.
Oh, is it?
Is 6.
Okay.
It's a different one.
Oh, that's right. So these guys are surrounded by radiation, and they're not sure quite how to get to the rendezvous point. However, with this one, it doesn't tell you where the actual origin of the message comes from. Maybe because there's radiation interfering with it.
However, it does mention that their location was like 100 kilometers west of LifePod 4's last known location. But we don't have LifePod 4 yet either.
However, we do have the blueprints for a compass, so if we did need to use those directions to get there, that's what we got from LifePod 3, is the blueprints to make a compass.
And LifePod 3's crew log in question, because it won't be heard here. Basically, they're just trying to re-engineer a Sea Glide to carry both of them, the 2 crew members, to safety. We're just mentioning the infection here, and I asked Sky to do a self-scan on himself just to make sure he hasn't been infected, because we have seen quite a few of those infected specimens around, and we weren't sure if we'd been attacked by one yet.
It's always worth checking, though.
Yeah, and going back to LifePod 3's log, basically they were saying that, they were hoping on the Sea Glide being able to carry both of them to safety. And basically, the engineers. I claim the engineers' response as an internal mood. I mean, I only seen the technological force. If I stop seeing the maths, then I'll be scared. Which also applies to me. When I stop seeing the maths, that's when I get uncertain.
I think I'm scared when I see maths.
True. I think we just about have everything that we were planning to make. We've got everything moved from LifePod 5.
We do, yeah. I just went to grab some more titanium just to fill up the storage a little bit because we're running low.
Just to pad it out because we'll be needing it later. But we have the main body of the base set up, and this is the sign out.
So yeah, that's the end of the episode. Thank you all for joining us, and we'll see you in episode 5.